Okay, changing the subject of a formula. This is our third lesson on the same subject, on the same topic. And now, let's begin. Look at this shape. What do you think could be the perimeter of this shape? This is a semicircle. So, the perimeter of a complete circle is 2 pi r. So, perimeter of this is pi r. This is a, this whole length, plus 2b, and this is again a. So the perimeter is pi r plus, if you take a plus a, that's 2a, plus 2b. Now, formula for the perimeter of this shape is, if you said pi r plus twice of a plus b, because 2a plus 2b, if you can take out 2 common, if you factorize, so it becomes twice of a plus b. It is given that if the perimeter of the given shape is 32 centimeter, where radius r is 7 centimeter and length a is 3 centimeter, how much does b measure? That means you need to find out the unknown value is b. To find the unknown value, okay, this is the unknown value. So to find the unknown value, what do? As we know before, first we make, instead of substituting the values, first we will make b as the subject. Now to make b as a subject, this is the formula. First thing that we need to understand, this has to be the subject. So we need to remove a, we need to remove 2, we need to remove pi r. Let's see, first is the pi r. How do we remove? As I said, whatever we do so that the balance remains in the formula, on both the sides the equation remains the same. Whatever you do to the right hand side, you do the same to the left hand. So here we will subtract pi r from both the sides. Pi r gets cancelled. Pi r gets cancelled, and you get p minus pi r is equal to twice of a plus b. Now, the next part is that you need to remove this 2. Now to remove 2, we divide, if we divide this side by 2, then we have to do the same to the left hand side, and we divide it by 2. What you need to remember here is that there were certain mistakes done earlier. What you need to remember here is that you do not, sometimes when you divide this by 2, which means 2a plus b is divided by 2, you also divide 2 here. This means that you are only dividing pi r by 2. This is wrong. So you have to understand, and that's why when you substitute the value, you will end up making a mistake. So you have to remember that if you need to divide that way, you have to put all this is in bracket. The whole expression is divided by 2. And this also, the whole expression is divided by 2. So this 2 and this 2 gets cancelled, and you get get this 2 gets cancelled, and you get a plus b is equal to p minus pi r upon 2. Now, what is the next thing that you need to remove? Which is very easy. You remove a, because b is, if you remember, the unknown value from both the sides. Again, this, just remember, this is a whole expression, p minus pi. So you are removing a from this whole expression. So you remove, and this is what you get as b as the subject. The subject is always written on the left side. So you get b is equal to p minus pi r upon 2 minus a. Now, this example, you've got a little exercise to do. What has been given, that pi is 22 by 7, r is equal to 7, a is 3 centimeter. You need to find b. Pause this movie, find b, and then go on to the next exercise. Example 2. If x is equal to a square b, x is equal to 36, b is equal to 4, what is a? Okay, I get with this formula, this was the formula, I get x upon b is equal to a square. Can you think of what I did to get this? Why did the b come here? Yes, in this we have to make a as the subject. So what I did was, x is equal to a square into b. So what I did was that first thing I did was I removed b. To remove b, I divided right hand side by b. If I have to divide right hand side by b, obviously I do the same for the balance, the left hand side. This b and this b gets cancelled, and you get x upon b is equal to a square. Now, once you've got a square is equal to x upon b, how do we remove the square? Because you need to make a as the subject. What is a? It means a is the unknown value. So a has to be the subject. How do we remove the square? The way to do this a square means, to remove the square, you must multiply this by half. You can get this square removed. If this is multiplied by half, obviously this has to be also x upon b raised to power half. If you remember, we had done it earlier, that anything raised to power half means square root of that number. That means we find square root of a square. Because we are finding square root of a square on the left hand side, also we find the square root of complete expression, which is very important. But we get positive, negative here. Why? The reason is, if you remember, square of 4 is 16 and square of negative 4 is also 16. So when we find the square root of these numbers, then obviously the square root could be positive 4 and could be negative 4. That is why we take this positive and negative. So this is what we do. We find the square root of a and we get positive negative x upon b. So square root of a is positive and negative x upon b, or the subject a is equal to plus minus square root of x upon b. Using this, find your what is a. Do you think a will have one value? Think about it and write your answer on your sheets. Your next question. Example 3. If L upon M is equal to N upon Ns, N is equal to 1, S is equal to 3, then what is M? Square root of L upon M is equal to Ns. How do we remove the square root of L upon M? If you remember, the way to remove the square root that we did in the last exercise, square root means 1 upon 2. Now we do the opposite. We find the square of both the sides. If we square both the sides, this is because if I want to remove square root of x, that means x raised to power 1 by 2. I have to multiply this by 2. Because I'm squaring this side to complete the balance, I square the right hand side as well. So remember we need m. That's why we need to find the square of this. So we square this and we get L upon M is equal to n square upon n square s square. Now M is in the numerator. N square s square, if you write it as a fraction, means n square s square upon 1. The first thing that we'll need to do is, because one way is that we find the reciprocal, so that m comes as a m is on the denominator, so that m comes as a numerator. That means here m is in the numerator, and because you have done the reciprocal of this side, you have to do the reciprocal of this side as well, and you get m upon L is equal to 1 upon n square s square. Now very simple. How will you remove the L? You multiply both the sides by L and you get m is equal to L upon n square s square. Now using the value of n and s, find what is m. Will you get your answer m as a number, or you will get the value of m in terms of L? Give the answer. Thank you. Now using this example, you have to do your sheet number 3. Thank you.